So if it's skill practice, technique, tactics, that kind of stuff, and it's not wanting fatigue, I say it's below your anaerobic threshold heart rate. So on a rate of perceived effort, that's going to be anywhere typically sort of 6 to 8 out of 10. And you're kind of looking to focus around there.
Fighters, welcome back to another episode of Heatrick Muay Thai Performance.
Once it's starting to go above an 8, and this is kind of like typically for the whole session, not necessarily in a particular rep. You could go like flat out in individual reps as long as you're giving yourself lots of rest again so the quality stays up. But once you're going above that sort of 8 out of 10, you're starting to practice the technique under fatigue then. And then it needs to be something that feels robust and isn't falling apart drastically when you get fatigued. That's for like the other end of the training phase. So I always look at it like we've got movement, mobility, and strength at the beginning of the phase. That's where we're really looking to change technique, really rehearse new skills. We're being longer duration, lower effort work, and we're just thinking quality of movement, rehearse new patterns, get those banked. And then as we squeeze up through the blocks to the end of the phase, power block and then speed block is like we're not really interested in learning anything new. We're just testing all the stuff we've been building up through the early stages there. Now they should be robust enough with repetitions to stay sharp, even when I get tired, even when I get fatigued. And that's my focus now, test them under fatigue, if that makes sense. So there's a place for everything, but it's just what is the purpose of what I'm doing now? The other thing is, can you train every day? Again, if it's purely sort of technique and tactical training and it's that lower effort, yes, you could, because it's not as fatiguing. You can recover from it. And it's also, you're looking, especially in the early stages, when you're kind of learning something new or changing something, there's that sort of logarithmic up ramp in how your performance improves with the number of repetitions. So you want to be building up those repetitions as much as you can do. So more days of that practice, especially if it's lower effort and it's not fatiguing you, it's going to get you to a point where you've got a stable technique quicker. And actually the research also shows that rather than, let's say your target for your new technique, let's say was to get, I don't know, pick an arbitrary number, 300 repetitions of a new technique, you'd be better off separating that out into over multiple days than doing all 300 in one day. You would get better quality movement, better retainment, as in memory, you can repeat it afterwards. If you spread that, let's say you did 100 repeats of really good quality over 3 different sessions, that would work a lot better. Yeah, you don't want to overload a particular muscle group. So upper body to lower body split with practicing techniques, that helps, but also switching left sides to right side. So working the left side, making that a little bit more fatigued, then switching to the right side. All of that kind of stuff really helps. But also that kind of randomizing. So for example, let's say your goal was to improve your round kick. Rather than just doing like 100 round kicks on your rear leg, for example, that's going to give you so much and fatigue's going to build up and it's a number of repetitions, but you'd get far more practice quality practice and retain that skill better if you peppered that. Let's say you were doing, like jab, rear leg round kick, and then jab cross, rear leg round kick. And it was more spaced out and you built up the accumulation of repetitions, but there was those little pauses in between and switching to a different body part first and coming back. And it also just teaches you to sequence things together a bit better rather than just individual techniques. That's the other thing too. But the more you can think about that, the better too. And it could be, rear leg kick, and then I'm going to do lead leg kick, and the rear leg is resting while the lead leg's going a little bit more. And, it just allows you to keep the quality up and then build the repetitions up, but without just, say, fatigue starts messing things up. And actually that whole thing with retainment of a skill is better if you leave bigger rest periods between the repeats. So it is like, I'm actually, rather than doing 100 all in one, if I literally even if I just did 10 and then a break, and then another 10, that's going to be better than doing all 100 together. But if rather than doing 10 in one go, if I did 1, 2, or 3 and moved on to something else and then come back to it, little revisits, that's going to be even better still in building the skill up.
Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and share with someone else it could help too. Please give the podcast a review or comment below. We'd love to hear from you. As always, you can visit heatrick.com for more Muay Thai performance podcasts, videos, articles, and guides. Catch you next time.